Welcome to Curiousaholic, the show where we question the past and imagine the future, where we learn from people's stories, learn from history's lessons, and unveil some of the dangers that lie ahead in the future. Man, does it feel good to say that.
Does it, right? We have had some changes lately with, a lot of interviews recently and a lot of changes in our setup. As you guys can see now, we're sitting at a round table kind of in front of the original setup, which was my blue couch.
What? I was laying down on the couch for a few episodes there.
For quite a few episodes, yeah. Evan was laying on the couch. I was behind the piano. That's kind of how we originally started.
You guys might think that we changed our names or something. I'm still Evan. He's still Haiko. Just our setup changed.
We're still the same people, but you might also see another person in the back, which we have a new guy, one of our friends here, Patrick, who is going to, supervise some of the technical stuff. Pat, you want to say hi?
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm happy to be here.
It's cool.
Great. Yeah,
it's glad to have you. Pat has been one of our longtime friends, so we
long-time watcher.
Yeah, one of our first subscribers.
Yeah, one of our first fans. So he's out here to help us. And whenever we need him also to pull up something on the screen for us to look at.
Yeah, we'll ask Pat.
Yeah. Hey, Pat, pull it up.
Yeah. Speaking of subscribers, as we're recording this episode, we actually crossed 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. So we would absolutely love to thank you guys for that. It's been like a crazy ride this year so far.
It really has. I mean, just recently we put a post on YouTube, thanking for 1,000+ subscribers, and a few days later, not even a week, and we're already at 2,000. So we greatly appreciate that. We're appreciative of you guys starting this new community, and hopefully we can produce better and better content.
Yeah, we'll do our best to put out the best content for you guys, and we have a lot of plans coming up for the podcast this year especially, so we'll keep working at that for sure to put out the best stuff. Also we want to talk about a little bit how we're going to be doing the podcast as of now. We have a new podcast niche, I guess. The show is called Curiousaholic. It has been for a while. We felt like we lost our identity a little bit at some point. We were going by Getting Curious With, and kind of had two separate podcasts going on. But I think now we kind of found ourselves again, and we're going to keep going with Curiousaholic as the main name of the podcast. I think that's it's important to note, not to confuse anyone. And Curiousaholic initially was about kind of just two guys, I would say, curious about whatever, talking about whatever. But now we decided to kind of focus on a specific podcast niche that we're going to be, focusing on, and basically delving into that as much as possible. So the niche, I kind of spoiled it in the intro there. It's going to be learning about people's stories, learning from history's lessons, and also unveiling some of the dangers that lie ahead in the future.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing topics within those three little branches, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think with that, we're going to be more focused in kind of the topics that we, talk about with the guests that we bring on our show, because, before we were a bit broad, and we weren't focused on what kind of topics we want to talk about. We just talked about kind of any topic that interested us at that time, and it was broad, it was like big subjects. But I think now, we're going to cater to more specific niche.
Yeah, I think that's going to help us grow the podcast, and also, get a little bit of a community going here with people that really enjoy that type of content.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully you guys like that and come along for the ride.
Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. We also have a topic for today, so we're not going to be just boring you with the little changes that we have here. We have a pretty cool topic to discuss today. It's going to be about a city that you've probably never heard about that only has 4 people living in it, which is pretty astounding. Basically, the city is in Pennsylvania in the U.S. U.S., like, you wouldn't expect something like that being in the middle of the U.S., almost like a ghost town practically, right? The town is called Centralia, and basically the town has been going through a lot of population decline over the years.
Yeah, so this little town called Centralia, I mean, I also find like the name Centralia is like so, it's like central.
Central.
Yeah, like it needs to be like this big town. Almost sounds like a town from like a science fiction movie.
Yeah.
Centralia, you know.
Yeah, it's like a cover of a book or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this town, basically, it was founded by miners. Basically, like miners, started this town. Most of the people there were, working in the mining industry. This town, it wasn't huge. Yeah, it had a few thousand inhabitants. So there was this group called the Molly Maguires, who were these Irish people that came from Ireland to America, and apparently they were this secret
society.
Secret society that came into that city Centralia in the 1860s. And what started happening is there was a lot of crimes going on, a lot of murders, and a lot of people thought it was them that were responsible. So basically what their goal was is that they were against coal miners abusing, the miners working for them, like their rights and everything. They were working long hours and very difficult environments. So these Molly Maguires kind of had this goal of, rebelling against them by forming unions against these owners. So some inhabitants were thinking that these coal mine owners were framing this group of the murders and crimes that were happening, so that they would try to execute them or put them in jail or whatever.
So this group, the Molly Maguires, so they're originally from Ireland, right? And they came to Centralia. Do you think they had a goal? Like, do you think they were trying to cause problems there? Like, other than
I mean. Yeah, I don't know. It's like when did they move to?
Like is there like a special goal? It seems a little bit suspicious to me that some group just kind of like immigrated there and then they almost started making trouble for like no reason. They must have had a goal.
Maybe, or I know there was a lot of Irish people, immigrating to America, right?
Yeah, there's part of that, the immigration thing.
Wasn't there like the famine, the Irish famine also? I'm not sure if that was part of the reasons why the Irish people were immigrating to America.
Let's ask Pat.
Well, that could be our first example of Pat
pulling it up. Yeah. So check if why some Irish people were just immigrating to America was part of the famine.
Reasons of why the Irish people were immigrating to America.
Maybe it also kind of ties into why a lot of people ended up leaving the place, right? So there's the whole thing that happened inside the town, and a lot of people ended up leaving because there's a fire that's actually been raging on since the early 1960s. And it still hasn't been taken out, the fire. The fire is expected to keep blazing and raging underground for another 250 years. Here it is. So it is estimated that over 6 million Irish people have immigrated to the U.S. since the 1820s. The peak of the Irish immigration resulted from the Great Famine. Right, so you were right.
Yeah, so I was right. Yeah, okay. I think it's because they were having trouble like growing potatoes or something.
There was a disease with the potatoes. That's why they couldn't grow it there.
Yeah, see? Okay. So, exactly. They had like a disease that was affecting their potato crops.
But I feel like, I do feel like the Molly Maguires probably had some aim coming here, I feel like, or to Pennsylvania.
I don't know. Maybe, they were just like this group and they kind of had their own goals. And then when they came to Centralia and they saw like these coal mine owners abusing the workers, they were like, no, we're going to stand up against this. And there was a lot of crimes happening, some murders that people didn't know why.
Yeah. But it's said that the Molly Maguires are actually responsible of killing the founder of the town.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's the thing. Some people think that the coal mine owners were framing them for the murder of the town owner or the other murders. And then that's the thing. And I think 1877, they lynched a few of the leaders from the group. And then the crime wave ended, and then the town kind of settled, and the mining continued. But just now talking about the population decline. So coming to 1962, so what happened basically is that they had a mine pit, like this big hole in the ground, and they used to dump garbage into that hole.
Landfill.
A landfill, and that got so much out of control that they were like, we need to get rid of this. So what they did was that they set it ablaze.
Yeah, it's like an easy solution to get rid of your garbage.
Just burn it.
It's like instead of calling the firefighters to put out a fire, they call the firefighters to put things on fire.
But did they actually call the firefighters to put that fire?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
That'd be another thing for Pat. Anyways.
Yeah, he could look it up if he wants to. But I'm not sure if it was the firefighters there. But yeah, they put it on fire. And you're like, okay, they put a fire on garbage and it started burning. You know, what did that cause?
Yeah.
I mean, so what happened?
Yeah, so they basically put the garbage on fire, and initially what they were supposed to do is they were supposed to seal the coal seams which are underneath the surface.
Yeah.
And they thought they had properly sealed all of those, but turns out they didn't. Mm-hmm. And when they put out the fire, they thought that, you know, the fire was basically extinguished at that point, but the fire had actually seeped through the ground and into the coal seams.
Yeah.
And the fire started spreading underground. So what started happening was people within a few days started noticing that there was like smoke and, you know, the ground kind of was like distorted, and they were wondering why that was happening. And turns out it was because of that, you know, huge fire that they started in the landfill.
Yeah. So basically, when they put fire on that landfill, the fire went down. It reached to the, you know, bottom of the pit, and then some of the coal seams, like there were cracks that were open, and then it went through there, and then the fire started burning all of the coal and all of the mining tunnels under the city. So yeah, basically the whole underground of the city was like on fire.
Yeah.
So people, you know, felt that heat, and there was smoke coming out of sinkholes.
Okay, so they called Centralia Fire Company. Yeah.
What
so
is
there's
that?
I guess there was like a company that was like responsible for like setting things on fire.
Maybe,
or something.
yeah. Because I think, when I did the research, it said that they were used to setting trash on fire.
Yeah,
it was kind
exactly.
of a regular thing.
Right, it was a regular thing back in the day. Like there was no proper like disposal mechanism. It was just like let's put it on fire.
Yeah. And I think Centralia especially was known for its trash problems.
Yeah, and even nowadays, I know Centralia actually has a pretty big garbage disposal issue. A lot of, you know, tourists come there and they just throw their trash everywhere.
Well, it was basically the easy way out, you know, because managing waste can be complicated. You need to know how to sort it, where it goes.
It's a huge industry, right? I mean, it's not just like anyone could do it. Like there's huge waste management companies that take care of that and handle that.
Yeah, of course. Any major city needs that, but they decided to put it on fire. So then the fire, you know, spread to the cracks, and then all the mining tunnels started coming on fire. And the temperature that it reached, 900 Fahrenheit in some parts of the city, which, you know, for us metric users is 482 Celsius.
482 Celsius, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Here it gets 30 degrees Celsius, which is about 100 Fahrenheit, and it's already too much.
It's like, boiling water is like 100 Celsius.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you think about how hot the ground was,
like
4 times that temperature, essentially.
I mean, I can't blame, you know, for the people leaving the city. So what happened? So they were like a couple of thousand people.
Yeah, so initially there were 1,200 people living there in the early 1800s, and now we're down to 4 people living there. So that's like basically like one family.
Yeah, that's the thing also. Like, are those 4 people independent, or are they kind of...
If you guys live in Centralia and you see this video or this podcast, just let us know if you guys live all in one house or...
are you talking about like the 4 people that might be living there?
Maybe by an off chance they'll see this podcast.
Anyone who sees this podcast who's from Centralia... I mean,
hit us up.
Comment.
You'll come on the podcast.
Yeah, you'll definitely, you know, we would love to hear it from an actual person who lived in Centralia, because, the city, so then, after 1960s, it just started going down because people started going out
evacuating
of
the city.
Because it was becoming dangerous, you know, the smokes, the heat, the toxic air.
So it's pretty crazy to think that, you know, there's... Usually you hear about these like ghost towns in movies or something, but now it's like a real life, almost like ghost town.
Yeah,
it's like,
and like
crazy to think about.
You know, big country like the U.S., and it's not like, you know, the town was bombed or there was war, or some catastrophe, like a huge catastrophe. It was like a slow burning, no pun intended.
Yeah.
And I like this quote here. There was a writer, a journalist from the 1980s who wrote in the People's Magazine. He was like, even the dead cannot rest in peace.
That's nuts.
He's like, graves in the town's 2 cemeteries are believed to have dropped into the abyss of fire that rages below them.
Yeah, that's wild.
So that's crazy. So like cemeteries. So what is he saying? So does he mean like?
So he's saying that like the dead that are basically resting like under in the ground, they can't rest because they're burning.
Oh my god, that's like
nuts.
Morbid.
Think about it's like even the dead.
So they
the
were, I
dead
guess,
can't rest
literally
properly.
burning then.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, wow. I think I saw somewhere that they saw like some of the remains of like dead bodies getting completely like disintegrated and all.
For Centralia.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy to think about. Even the dead can't rest almost.
Yeah, in a way, like it's just crazy how this happened and like just because of one fire and it keeps on going.
Or so they say. There's a lot of people that say that there's conspiracies around how the fire started, and it wasn't necessarily just the fire from the landfill and whatnot. Yeah. So
what is one of the conspiracies, Evan?
Yeah. So we're not conspiracy theorists, but there are conspiracies, and
but isn't that more of a superstition though?
No, I think there are quite a few conspiracies actually of why like this.
Like it was planned.
Like it was a plan, or that's the thing. That's what I was kind of saying with the Molly Maguire's. If they maybe had a play into that, or there is that suspicion as well that maybe they came and they caused trouble and they maybe plotted it. I think that might be part of it.
I think in the research I saw that up until the 60s there were a few descendants left of the Molly Maguire's. Most of them had like passed away. But
so you're saying it can be because they weren't there anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, who knows, dude?
Who knows? That's the thing. We won't know for sure like what the cause of the fire was, but the main proof is the landfill fire. People do believe that is the reason
that caused it. Yeah.
But there are other kind of like beliefs. So there is one where so there was one one priest that actually kind of put a curse on the city, apparently, that he said that the only monument that would be left standing would be the church that he was running, and everything else would be put to the ground essentially. So I don't know if he said particularly if it was like a fire that would put everything to the ground, but he would just say my church is all that's going to be left standing in the city.
Yeah, well, I think he said maybe everything's going to burn to the ground or I think he said that because there was so much crime happening during that time because it was in the 1860s.
1800s,
end of the 1800s. And he was like, "Man, I'm cursing this city. You guys are gonna have it one day." I mean, in a way, it kind of happened. I mean,
it did happen.
I don't know. Is this church still standing?
I don't know. That'd be interesting to know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, we've never been to Centralia, so we're just kind of looking from a distance here.
I don't know if I would visit though, because you're saying it's still gonna burn for another 250 years.
Yeah, it's actually a tourist attraction. Like, a lot of people do recommend visiting it, even though it's like kind of like this endangered zone.
Okay.
Because there is kind of like this history behind it, kind of like what we're exploring right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people might be interested to see what's left of the city, and also what's actually really interesting about this town is that there's actually this route called Route 61, which is actually nicknamed Graffiti Highway.
Okay.
Which is a highway that people go on and they just they keep adding graffiti kind of like mile after mile, and it doesn't go on the whole stretch of the highway, but it does kind of stop at some point. And there's a lot of graffiti there, and like a lot of people were going there just to add the graffiti. And then eventually in 1993 they actually closed Route 61 because they were, worried about the safety of, people actually going on the road.
How long is that stretch of highway, I wonder?
From what I saw, I think it was like only like a 3/4 mile stretch.
3/4
that the
mile
graffiti
stretch?
kind of goes.
Okay.
So here's
is that some pictures?
yeah, there's a picture of it. Although I could be wrong of how long the.
You didn't want me
was.
to see this. You wanted me to react.
I wanted you to see, yeah, because I know
Wait,
you hadn't seen it.
Holy damn!
Yeah,
So,
that's wild.
what the heck? So the whole ground is covered like that?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's crazy. So
It's like, almost like a piece of art.
it's like a piece of art, yeah, and that's why a lot of people just go there and visit
I
because
would actually like to see.
yeah,
that,
I would like to see that too. I mean, graffiti is
cool.
pretty interesting. Kind of looks like a little creepy. It's like, look at all these
Yeah, it's like
art
so
like
much going
scattered
on.
everywhere. So much going on. It's like, yeah, it's pretty wild to think that people go there. They've been going there for years and just adding graffiti one after the other.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Okay. So basically, what, the highway was closed? Like no one can drive there.
Yeah, I guess no one could drive there, or maybe they put maybe a limit to how far you could go on the highway, because maybe some zones are probably more endangered than others.
Okay.
I know what was happening was like literally the ground was like collapsing, and like it was not.
Also, like, is the highway like cracks? Some
Yeah, like there are
places?
cracks
Like,
and
is it synced?
crevices kind of that are forming,
Okay.
and you can't necessarily drive there
Kind
because
of like maybe an earthquake happened. or
yeah, almost like
something.
an earthquake essentially.
Okay. Interesting.
So yeah, it is pretty interesting that that exists, and I kind of feel like I would visit that.
Yeah, I think I would too. Yeah, I don't know, like the city itself, like in the town. Yeah, not sure. Like, is the air still toxic? I mean,
Well, yeah, I guess
there
it is.
still-
Yeah, it has to be, right? Because like the fire is still burning
the
and
carbon monoxide.
carbon monoxide poisoning. Oh, there it is. Wow,
Oh, what is that? Oh,
that's like one of the cracks.
is that one of the cracks?
Yeah.
In the...
Oh wow.
Okay, that's
Yeah, that's definitely interesting.
when people are still like.
Yeah.
spraying their
So you
paints
could
there.
see like the smoke coming through the cracks. Look at that.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like the like underneath it is just like burning. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what it reminds me of? Like those hot water baths. You know, like in is it in Ireland? No, in Iceland.
Mm.
You know how there's like some areas where it's like water and it's like heat.
Yeah, like those geyser type things. In Centralia, there was a kid that actually almost fell into like a geyser because of the the ground that's kind of like more like basically not the same landscape anymore, and he
Okay.
almost fell in,
Yeah.
and he almost died from basically falling into a geyser.
Geyser. What is that like?
So a geyser is kind of like almost like a hole that forms in the ground, and smoke escapes from it, and it's like really hot gas that's coming out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't it similar to a sinkhole?
Yeah, I believe so. I think
Yeah.
it's similar, but it's not exactly the same. Geyser is more like almost like a mini volcano, kind of like there's no like magma coming out or anything, but it's
okay.
just like like
Like
hot gas
pressurized
and pressurized
heat.
gas and heat that's coming out. Yeah.
Okay, I see. Interesting.
Oh,
yeah.
so this is the
Yeah,
hot water bath. Okay.
What is it called, Pat? I mean, I can't really see the name there.
Well, it's actually saying geyser there. So
Oh, is
might-
it?
Yeah, it might actually just be the same
Yeah.
thing you're thinking about.
Okay.
Geyser.
Geyser, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I would be scared.
Yeah, I'd be scared to walk around there for sure.
Yeah, I don't think he passed away. He did escape.
Yeah,
Like,
he did
was
escape.
near,
Near death experience.
near-death experience. Yeah, man. So yeah, I also wonder, those 4 people, I imagine they're like old people at this point. I don't think it'll be.
I mean, if you live here, you must have like 9 lives or something.
Yeah, it's like, aren't they being poisoned, or the air is not safe to breathe?
Yeah, the air can't be too safe to breathe for sure. And I think that was like
Yeah.
the main reason why a lot of the population left.
Okay.
The air quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, I imagine also the weather. It must maybe affect the weather.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe
just
some
in general,
smog
just-
and
No, not the smog, but just like the heat in the air.
Yeah, maybe.
I imagine.
Could imagine that there's like some kind of like localized heat, like with
even if the weather around is maybe low temperatures, there is just always constantly hot and humid. Maybe
actually, what's interesting is I actually went on Google Maps to kind of see like a street view of what it was, and it looked really gloomy and kind of
like the satellite view.
Yeah, just the street view. Like I was literally going on
you went on a street
view?
I
went on a street view just to kind of see what it looked like.
Yeah.
And like just from the Google Maps street view, like it was maybe it was just that day, but it was really like dark and gloomy outside. So maybe it does kind of affect the the temperature, the weather there.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I would think so. I mean, 900 Fahrenheit ain't
yeah, you could cook your meals on the ground.
You could literally, I could cook an omelet on the ground. Not even, I'll burn my omelet.
Yeah. One time I saw that in Florida. One time in Florida, I was I went on a vacation, just like a little tangent, and I saw like two guys. It was a really hot day. They had like a black car, and they were trying to like fry their eggs.
Oh, like on the car, on the hood?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you see that like in comedy movies.
Yeah.
Usually.
I don't know if they were successful in their.
Were they really trying to?
They were trying. Yeah, I was laughing. I was thinking, man, these guys actually have eggs on their car.
It's not really. It's kind of disgusting, honestly. But like,
yeah, it must be weird.
Yeah, what about you? Got to scrape it with a spatula?
No, he had a pan. He had a pan.
Oh.
And he was trying to fry the eggs from the pan.
I mean, yeah, it would. If it's like really hot, like 30 degrees Celsius, which is around 100 Fahrenheit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it would cook.
It'll cook. I mean, outside it can be summer times.
Yeah.
Very hot.
Yeah, speaking of, we're getting some pretty hot weather too here, actually.
Well, yeah. Summer is, I think, we're officially in summer now.
Yeah.
After June 21st.
Yeah.
We're done.
We're recording this on June 22nd, so first day of summer was yesterday.
It was yesterday, yeah.
Yeah.
And we decided to talk about a hot topic.
Yeah, it's a hot topic.
No pun intended.
Yeah, so there's also a movie, right, that's been inspired by Centralia.
Yeah, apparently, which I didn't know. I mean, I've never seen the movie, which is Silent Hill.
Yeah.
From 2006. Although I think the games aren't based on Centralia, but that movie in
that movie in particular,
was based on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Hey Pat, can you try to find a scene from Silent Hill? Maybe we'll react to it. Let's see if we could see where the inspiration comes from.
Yeah, that's what I wonder, because like Silent Hill.
Yeah,
the 2006 movie. Apparently, it was inspired by that. But that's the thing, because I think the movie is about like this, like
the events and what's happening, the ghost town, all that. Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting to think about. I was wondering like how they got inspiration from that. I think I saw the movie, but like probably like a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't think I have. Maybe, but
yeah. I mean, it's in the horror genre, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a guy who goes into this city called Silent Hill.
So the town from the film series, however, was inspired by Centralia, Pennsylvania. Yeah, so it was inspired, right? Yeah.
I think. I don't think the story of Silent Hill is like based on kind of what happened there. They just got inspired by this ghost town. They said, "Oh, let's make a horror movie where this guy goes to this ghost town."
Yeah,
in search of what is the synopsis again? Pat, can you look it up? Like, what is the movie like about? Just in summary. Isn't it about a guy looking for his daughter?
Let's just look at the trailer. Let's look at the trailer.
Yeah, maybe the trailer can be just a good overview.
Yeah.
I'm not okay. Please hurry.
Okay, it's pretty.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so it has some stuff. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know what's happening. Do you know what's going on here?
This place is completely cut off.
Only the dark one opens and closes the door to Silent Hill.
I kind of want to watch this movie. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has some elements, of that there was a fire started and maybe something happened. People
running around and panicking.
Yeah. And then
ghosts.
Maybe the ghosts are, the dead people from the graves who were raging in the abyss.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They're coming out of their graves to like haunt people.
Like, what the hell, man?
These Molly McGuires.
all started because of them.
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe there was some truth in that story that they showed in the movie. I don't know.
Actually, I'd be down to watch this. So I'm gonna put it on my list.
Yeah,
watch
me
it.
too. Yeah. So it's crazy how like a lot of what happens in the world kind of inspires literature, right? Like we see that like these events kind of inspired Silent Hill's plot, and I think it also inspired some authors to write about some of those events in their books, and they use that for inspiration too. So it's not just in movies.
Sometimes real life can be even more scary than any fiction.
Yeah.
They're trying to add ghosts there walking in the city or whatever.
Yeah.
But the story on its own is already...
Yeah, the stories are already pretty freaky, right? I mean, 4 people living in a whole town, like, you don't hear that very often.
And
it still exists.
1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it still exists. Like, it's just...
You know what I heard, actually? It still exists, like the name is still given to the town, but apparently the zip code was actually discontinued.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no mail going to that area.
Yeah.
I would have blamed the postal service.
Yeah.
But apparently Amazon Prime is still active.
Are they?
No,
probably not. They get like express delivery there. They must not have a lot of clients there. It's like, oh, okay, let me bring it to this guy out next door. All right, done for the day. On to the next town.
Like, we are the only online retailers who will still go to Centralia.
Yeah, man. It's wild. It's a wild time that there's still a town that exists that way.
Yeah, because like towns like this, like ghost towns, the one that's really famous, the Pripyat town from Ukraine,
Chernobyl, right?
After the Chernobyl. Like we understand, why that happened. It's because of that nuclear plant that exploded, the radiation. Okay, but here it's a fire underground.
Yeah, it's almost, a weird like circumstance,
kind of like
right?
religious and like a bit like like hell.
Yeah, right. That's true. I didn't think about it that way. Interesting.
It's
so maybe it goes back to that like curse that was put down from the priest or something. It's interesting. Like, can you legally go to Centralia? In short, there is nothing stopping visitors from driving into the borough. Yeah, so
so you can go in.
Yeah,
there.
you definitely can. So I think there's still tourists still going to the town.
So
from
I
what
guess
I've seen,
they haven't blocked off.
No, they haven't blocked it off. So you could still go, just visit, whatever.
So where did like those people who were living there like get their food or whatnot? So they travel in and out of town, I guess.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I saw apparently that there's not many local businesses there as well, so they might have to like they have to outsource like everything. Probably.
Oh yeah, literally everything the people who are living there need to get is outside of the town.
They get it like airdropped or something.
Airdrop. You get a care package.
Yeah, they like care package.
Call it a care package.
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah. I just wonder like. If there are other towns like that, right? There's what did you call it? The other one is it Pripyat?
Pripyat, yeah.
Yeah,
Pripyat.
That would be a cool other topic actually. Should cover that one.
Maybe another standalone topic, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of our goal with like looking back into the past, to some history and to some like these interesting events is to kind of understand why they happen. Be curious about it, and how can we prevent?
Yeah, how can we prevent? That's a good question, actually. How would you prevent this?
Don't set garbage on fire.
Yeah, I guess it comes down to
waste
that, right?
management. It sounds boring, but
yeah, I guess like in the early 1960s, the level of waste management technology and it's not at the same level as we have today. But I can imagine they had something going for them, right? 1960 is not that long ago.
Yeah, but I guess it's crazy how long it's taken. But dude, like even 60s, 70s, like New York City.
Yeah,
one of the biggest metropolises in the 70s had a huge problem with garbage because people would just throw it out into the streets because it's so crammed, right?
Yeah, not even just garbage removal, even like snow removal, for example, right? Like just think back here in Quebec in the 60s, in the 70s. Like my parents used to tell me they used to have like meters of snow in front of the house.
Oh yeah,
right?
I always hear that. Yeah. Like the snowstorms were sometimes really intense.
Yeah,
and would cover like the whole door. It would just be filled with snow.
Yeah, So I guess since then our technology has improved so much that we don't have to resort to lighting shit on fire, you know?
No, of course not. Yeah, I mean, and also like burning garbage is just not really good for the environment.
That too, yeah.
Because it's so much. We're trying to cut down on driving cars, but we want to burn. Trash.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they did have some type of understanding of what repercussions that would have on the environment, but maybe they didn't have a better way.
Yeah. It was just, I guess, a last resort thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just didn't understand that putting the garbage into that mine pit was already dangerous. With some,
The mine was smoldered 30 years.
Yeah, it says it was a really common method of burning the debris, but then after firemen were supposed to extinguish the fire right after.
Yeah.
But this time, for some reason, it cut up so fast they couldn't stop it.
Okay. Yeah, so the fire burned and burned and burned, and then it, reached the coal seam.
Yeah.
And then it started spreading underground.
They didn't know that it reached that point, though. They thought, we put it out.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's crazy, yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, there has to be some better way to,
Hopefully this Centralia story was a lesson for other towns. Because I don't think they're the only mining town in the U.S. I think
there are others, yeah.
Other ones.
But I think actually coal mine fires are actually really prevalent within, towns that are focused on mining and, producing coal for whatever business and all.
I guess so. It makes sense, dude. I mean, it's like part of the risk of mining.
Yeah.
Because it's coal, right? Coal is, what we use to burn.
Yeah, like energy. A fire hazard, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine someone smoking in.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine just something stupid like that started it. Something, throw my cigarette
someone,
away.
Putting a cigarette, those movies, it's like a slow motion. No.
Yeah, exactly.
The lighter. Or like, I don't know if you've seen that scene from the Zoolander, the first movie.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, there's a scene where like the guy Zoolander, he's with his fashion model friends, and they're all like stupid basically. And they go to this gas station and they start taking the gas handle and they start spraying it and dancing, spraying it on the car. But the main character, he's at a phone booth, he's like talking, and then you see one of the guys at the gas station pulls up a cigarette and then he's gonna light it, and the guy's like, no.
Oh my god, yeah. So that's kind of reminiscent of this Centralia thing, I guess. It's
yeah, the fire didn't start by someone smoking, but
yeah. Well, hey, they're not entirely convinced on how this started, so you never know.
I mean, right? I think a
lot of people used to smoke in the '60s. So.
You think someone smoking started the fire?
No, probably not. I'm just screwing around, but who knows, man? Sometimes fires start for like the dumbest reasons. And they're so preventable, right?
And a lot of like the wildfires that we get here.
Oh yeah, we've been getting in Canada. We've been getting a lot of wildfires lately.
Yeah. And I think some of them are human caused.
Yeah, some of that could be human caused, but I think the ones that we've been getting recently is probably from like the heat and the the dry temperatures.
Yeah, a lot of like just trees that are very dry and very prone to fires. Yeah.
Yeah.
But human inattention can also cause fires. I've seen it in the news.
Yeah. Firefighters definitely deserve some recognition. I mean, they definitely do a lot, and it's a hard job to put your life at risk, essentially, to put out a huge fire, like especially those huge wildfires, forest fires are going on.
Those are tough to extinguish.
Yeah.
Although I feel like those are more realistic to extinguish than this.
Yeah, this coal mine thing that's like underground.
How do I stop that?
Essentially, they're saying that the reason why it keeps on burning is that the coal supply is so enormous and large that it's just not gonna burn. It's just gonna spread so fast that we can't put it out. And it's just gonna burn for until the coal is
because
is
it
done.
has 250 years worth of coal to burn through.
Yeah, exactly.
And because it's underground.
And it's so widespread that it's hard to kind of pinpoint where they could put out the fire, or it just keeps spreading.
Yeah, because it's not just one tunnel.
Yeah.
It's multiple
it's like all the channels underground that are kind of
like a branch of a tree, like the roots of a tree.
Yeah, so it's it's going to be a difficult thing. I think we're probably never going to solve this by ourselves. I think nature is just going to take care of itself at this point.
I think that town, once the 4 people, either pass away one day out of old age or, move themselves, I think, that town is best to left alone.
Yeah.
And then it's going to become Silent Hill.
Yeah. Silent Centralia.
Silent Centralia, yeah. It's just, it's crazy. I mean, the name makes it sound like it was this bustling town.
Yeah, but it was, though.
Yeah.
It actually was. Like, in the 1800s, the town was, productive. It was, for business, and a lot of miners were there. They were, hoping to make a living off, mining.
Mm-hmm.
And then this kind of tragic thing happened, which is kind of insane.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, story is very interesting, and we learned how to manage waste.
Yeah, we need to learn how to manage waste better, not just freaking burn everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, arson is an interesting.
Arson.
Yeah, arson is like putting things on fire for no reason. Kind of feels like they did that for no reason.
Arsonist started this.
Yeah, arsonist did it.
The fire company.
Yeah.
Man, you would never have such a company nowadays. The fire company.
Yeah, right?
Well, you know what? Maybe. Yeah, maybe you would have companies that put controlled fires.
Mm-hmm. Maybe if they had like a specific, reason to put a fire somewhere. I don't know in which case it would do that.
Yeah.
Can you think of an example of why you would need to put things on fire?
Well, yeah, for forests.
Okay, so you would purposely light fires.
Yeah, there are some, I don't know, maybe Pat can like research that, but I think there are controlled fires that they do in forest to trim it and keep it in check.
To control it, right? So it doesn't like grow
to grow
weird directions. And
because there's a lot involved in the ecology and how like the forests grow, because sometimes some trees get so big that they cover the sun for other trees in the back and other wildlife
so it prevents other species
from dying
to grow and prosper because one tree is taking up all the sunlight, right?
Yeah.
So hazard reduction or controlled burning is conducted during the cooler months to reduce fuel buildup and decrease the likelihood of serious hotter fires.
So they know there's gonna be a fire sooner or later, so they decide to do it themselves. So it'll be smaller.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they try to burn it off quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so
some it becomes big.
So some of the trees that are growing could become like a hazard essentially, and they're just putting part of the trees on fire.
Controlled burning simulates the germination of some desirable forest trees and reveals soil mineral layers, which increases seeding visibility. Is that visibility? Yeah. Thus renewing the forest.
Seeding vitality.
Vitality, sorry, yeah. Yeah, it's just like a natural process that we kind of induce. It's sometimes things grow and you need to just cut it off and burn it off so like fresh new trees can grow.
Kind of like some hunters specifically, take down certain species because, like, for example, bears, right? Because they're taking over too much of the ecology and the food chain. And, if there are too many bears in the environment, then the population of deer is gonna collapse essentially.
Yeah,
right?
basically, yeah.
So it's kind of like we're almost putting this like natural selection process, but we're kind of intervening in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically controlling the environment. And, yeah. No, if it's done right, then there's no worries.
Is that ethical though?
Is that ethical? Well, I mean that's another debate now. I mean, I don't know. Why would it not be ethical?
I don't know.
Ethical for who?
Some people would think that like, this is just, nature's way of, doing its thing. Like, okay, if there's a tree that's taking up more sunlight or whatever.
Like naturally
do it. Should we be, intervening?
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question because, let's say humans weren't here. What would happen?
Yeah, right. If humans weren't here, that process would happen naturally.
Yeah. yeah, I guess there are some human interests involved in it.
Yeah.
I guess the fires, right? They're trying to do those controls fires so that naturally it doesn't have a huge wildfire.
Yeah.
Because then that would affect us, the toxic air. So yeah, obviously I think there are some reasons that we do it for us. You know, it's not just
for us. That's the key word.
Yeah, for us.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess some people would think that's a little controversial. You know, like intervening with what nature's doing.
Some people think humans need to die altogether. That nature needs to take over. Yeah,
Yeah.
there are literally people who advocate for the death of the human population because we're like a virus on this
Yeah, like
planet.
a controlling species or something.
Yeah, we're a
Tries to
dominant
take
species.
over everything. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't really believe in that
I don't
either.
believe
but
that. Like.
yeah, I think we should let nature run its course, but I think we should also kind of jump in if something just spirals out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, nature will do nature. I mean, it's not like the earth has feelings. Earth could become frozen for all we know, let's say.
Yeah.
Like an ice age could happen and earth just becomes frozen. Okay. Earth is not crying. Earth is not like saying, "Oh my god, I'm frozen." It's just frozen. That's just kind of a natural thing. But us, if we can maybe prevent that, we would actually prevent it for us, for other animals, right? Sometimes humans, we kill animals because we want to eat them, but we also care for certain animals. And
I guess because we also have a certain understanding, of ecology and populations,
like how
demographics almost, and just understanding the science behind it, whereas nature doesn't understand itself practically, right? I mean, it just does whatever.
It just does whatever. Yeah, eventually it kind of figure out a sort of system,
Yeah, it has patterns.
It has patterns, yeah. No, I think
like, global warming and,
climate
ice
change,
ages, they happen in cycles, right? I mean, yes, climate change right now is happening, a lot of it because of human activity, but looking back, thousands and thousands of years back, there was a component where just global warming would happen naturally, right? So there is that process too.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think humans, putting kind of their touch or, trying to intervene in it isn't unethical necessarily. I mean, we want to survive. We want to create a good environment. We also, think about the animals too, to a certain extent. Like nature itself is not going to think about the animals. Like,
yeah, nature just runs its course, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it thinks is right is
it
right.
might freeze completely and kill a lot of the species. Is it going to cry for them? No, it's just this. That's just what happens.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
So as much as the Centralia thing, it probably did happen for human reasons, like humans were probably behind it, but I feel like at some point this is kind of out of our hands now.
Yeah, now we just need to.
We just have to wait
abandon
and
let it run its course.
Yeah, I know they tried to put it out, but with no avail really.
Well, you're just gonna pour water underground.
Yeah, like how would they do that? Like, what's the process?
I don't know. They would
weird.
maybe have to dig up
a hole, and then
the
just
whole ground, dig it up. No, it would be too astronomical the cost to try to.
Yeah, the cost.
What
cost
would be
of
the
that
point
would be,
though?
Yeah,
because nobody lives there. Try to build a new town and have people come there.
Well, I mean, initially people were living there, so I mean.
Yeah,
at the beginning, there was probably an incentive to try to put out the fire, but now I don't really see the point. Right?
There's less and less point, so that's why I think you just let it run its course, and that's it.
Yeah, they would have to I guess dig this massive crater, just throw a bunch of water down there or something. How much would it cost to stop coal mine fires?
How much does it say there?
In 1984, 660 millions.
Wow.
But it says it would have cost only 42 to relocate, so just decided to
Oh yeah, there you go. So relocating would have been cheaper than actually putting out the fire.
Obviously. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And who knows if they would be successful.
Yeah.
You know, even if they spend all.
Yeah,
that
they
money.
probably would throw in all that money and it probably wouldn't go anywhere. It doesn't make sense.
You think you're gonna stop that far? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, on all your favorite streaming platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. If you want to go there. So I hope you guys look forward to these new kinds of episodes. Me and Heiko will try to do some combined topics, just us sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we still enjoy having guests on. And we look forward to having Pat here, once in a while. I don't think he's going to be here every time.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, yeah. I think it was cool to have a third character in the background with us.
Yeah, it definitely helped to pull up some stuff on the screen here so we could comment on that. That's a really interesting thing, I think, for us.
Yeah, that was helpful, that aspect for sure.
Yeah. So thank you guys, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Leave a comment. Subscribe if you want to see more.
Keep the momentum going.
Let's keep it up. Let's keep increasing and growing this community.
All right. Thank you guys. Catch you on the next one.
Peace.
Bye.